Players are given the freedom to play whatever they want. If they want to play for their country in the ICC event,
These two snubs didn't make sense in the first place to begin with. Some of the opponents in the group that New Zealand and South Africa will face.
welcome back to Glitch Lab. I am Glitch with APS10 Gaming, and today we are analyzing New Zealand and South Africa squad for the upcoming T20 World Cup.
Lots of changes to be looked at here. Both teams have had injury concerns and have replaced certain players within their squad. We'll have a go through them one by one. Let's start off with New Zealand. Let's go through their squad first overall. All of the out and out batsmen for New Zealand are wicketkeeper batters, starting from Finn Allen, who is technically a part time wicketkeeper, to Devon Conway and Tim Seifert, who are both dedicated wicketkeepers. And then we come to the all-rounders. This squad is chock full of all-rounders, let's be honest. The captain, Mitch Santner, Michael Bracewell, who was standing in as captain during the ODI series, I believe.
Yeah, he was the stand-in captain during the ODI series.
After the two captains, we have now Mark Chapman, another spinner option, Daryl Mitchell, the bane of India's existence, a veteran pick now in Jimmy Neesham, who's coming back into the squad. I don't know how much international cricket experience he has had as of recent times, but solid, experienced pick all round. And then Glenn Phillips and Rachin Ravindra, rounding out the all-rounders in the squad. Coming to the out-and-out bowlers in the squad, there is a ton of experience in the form of Matt Henry and Lockie Ferguson, both with tons of experience in both the subcontinent and as well as T20 World Cups as of the past. We also have Jacob Duffy, who has done reasonably well as of recent in red ball cricket. And then we have Kyle Jamieson, who is a replacement pick in the squad in place of right arm seamer Adam Milne, who was recently injured during the recent South Africa T20 League tournament.
Yes, it is a huge setback for the New Zealand team because Adam Milne was looking really good in the South Africa T20 League. And overall, in 2025, 2026, he was really in form. So, yeah, a huge loss for New Zealand.
And rounding out the squad, we have Ish Sodhi, the one dedicated proper spinner in the New Zealand squad apart from Mitch Santner.
Overall, looks a very solid squad. And New Zealand, over the past few ICC tournaments, they have done really well. And the key takeaways here are the experience heads they have. There is also a unique scenario with New Zealand cricket, which I would like to explain, is that since New Zealand don't have their own dedicated franchise cricket, their players are permitted to play franchise cricket all over the world. They need not to participate in the international cricket New Zealand are playing, but they can participate in the ICC events. We saw in 2024 T20 World Cup and 2023 ODI World Cup. I don't remember about the 2023 ODI World Cup, but 2024 Trent Bolt was not playing for New Zealand in the series leading up to the World Cup, but he was in the World Cup. He was playing in other franchise leagues all over the world. Right now, Kane Williamson, he was not playing in the India New Zealand ODI series. He was busy in South Africa T20 League, I believe, and in the Bangladesh League. So this is kind of a unique scenario New Zealand cricket have, and I kind of like this scenario because the players are given the freedom to play whatever they want, and they are also given the liberty that if they want to play for their country in the ICC events, they are permitted to do so. What are your thoughts on this whole scenario?
It depends, I guess, because sometimes you have better relations with the players because they are being permitted to pick and choose as long as they dedicate themselves properly to international tournaments and give prior notice and whatever. But sometimes you can also have scenarios playing in these tournaments gets you injured and then you miss out on the big tournaments, which can also hamper preparations for the national team. But to each their own, I guess. If this system has worked in the past for the New Zealand Cricket Board, then why not keep going? If it ain't broke, don't fix it, as they say. Moving on to the X factors in the squad, I think most of the X factors in the squad will come from the batting side of things, especially somebody like Finn Allen as of recent, somebody who I am really looking forward to see how he plays on subcontinental soil and adapts to these conditions because Finn Allen has done remarkably well in some of the T20 leagues around the world, especially in the American League, where he was like one of the big names, so scoring huge runs for what was it, the San Francisco franchise, I believe. And then in the recently concluded Australian League, where he was also performing extremely well, he was the top run scorer in the league for the Perth team as they won the title this season for a record sixth time, and he scored 466 runs in a total of 11 matches with an average of 42.36. Remarkably well done for him. So excited to see how he does on Indian soil. And then come the other names. Mitch Santner will always be a big name to watch out. What he has done in the recent times with franchisee cricket in India, and what he has done overall in bilateral series, whether it be Test cricket, ODI, or T20. He is one of the standout names in the squad. Last name, I think you would also agree that as of recent, he has been the bane of India's existence, which would be Daryl Mitchell.
Guy has hell in his name as well. And since you mentioned about Finn Allen, if people have doubt that American League, we don't know what is the standard of bowling there, he has proven himself in Australian League as well. Subcontinent will be a different ballgame altogether. Hope he does well because he is an interesting prospect. And even 2022 World Cup, the one which was held in Australia, he smashed the Australian team from ball one in the very first match. So he has some experience and he has shown us some exciting cricket in T20 World Cup as well. Mitchell Santner, that guy always spins some magic. 2016 T20 World Cup against India, India were chasing a small target of 120 odd runs and he just ran through the Indian batting lineup of Rohit Sharma, Virat Kohli, MS Dhoni. And with all the experience he has now after 10 years of international cricket, he will be one of the players to watch out for.
With New Zealand, they always seem to punch above their weight in any ICC tournament. Take, for instance, the 2019 World Cup. Take, for instance, the 2015 World Cup, even, or the recently concluded Champions Trophy. Anything, like, they always seem to find a way. They always seem to find something to keep them going.
Come the ICC event, they will just wake up and wreak havoc. You mentioned about ODI World Cup in 2019. Don't remind New Zealand of that. And the recently concluded Champions Trophy last year. Both occasions they reached the final. Winners of WTC 2021. In the same year in 2021, they were in the finals, losing to eventual champion Australia. So in every format, they somehow managed to punch above their weight. And this time they will be looking to go one step ahead.
Speaking of their luck, India versus New Zealand T20 series, like the precursor before the World Cup, things haven't been going according to plan for New Zealand because they have been outclassed in every single way, with the bat, with the ball, in the field. Everywhere, it just feels like it's not even a contest. In the most recent T20, which was the third T20, I believe, India chased down 150 odd in just 10 overs. So the bowling was really poor there, and it is pretty much the same lineup that they will be going into the World Cup with. So things will have to improve so they don't end up choking in the big moments like they are known to be doing in the previous few tournaments, like you mentioned as of before.
Yeah, in our preview video for India New Zealand, we talked about New Zealand getting acclimatized to the Indian condition, but it doesn't seem like they have figured it out yet. But who knows? Like they never saw Australia, they are showing the world that they are very easy to beat, they are not serious, and come the big tournament.
Surprise, motherfucker!
And one more thing, I said in the takeaway section that they are banking on their experienced player and all those unique scenario they have. That can backfire as well because their regular players like Tim Robinson, who has done really well against Australia in a T20 series, players like him aren't picked. Yes, they're going with experience, but the experienced player haven't played much together in recent times. So that can backfire for them in this tournament.
And so, with all that done and said, let's move on to building our predicted 11 for New Zealand in this tournament. Speaking of the 11, I don't think there is much changes that will be made to the lineup in terms of what they have been playing with in the series with India, but some changes will be there as Finn Allen will be coming back from franchisee cricket duties to start at the top of the order alongside Tim Seifert, who will most likely be the starting wicketkeeper for the team. Then at number 3, it will be most likely Rachin Ravindra and Glenn Phillips at number 4. 5, 6 and 7 I think is where things can get a little choppy changey at times depending on the situation, but most likely format will be Mark Chapman, who usually bats up the order most of the time at number 5. Then the destroyer himself, Daryl Mitchell, at number 6. And at number 7, Captain Mitchell Santner. And to round out the order, it will be most likely Kyle Jamieson, who can be a little bit handy with the bat at times, at number 8. Lockie Ferguson, rounding it out at number 9. And then Matt Henry and Ish Sodhi at numbers 10 and 11.
Lots of spin-offs in the team. Glenn Phillips, off spinner, Rachin Ravindra is more of a part-timer. He doesn't bowl that much, but can give you few overs of left-arm spin. Chapman is there, left-arm spin. And if you need another off-spinner, then Michael Bracewell is in the lineup. This team does look one of the contenders, and they are one of the contenders, ignoring the fact that their current series hasn't been that much great, but let's see what happens in the T20 World Cup. If you like our analysis, do subscribe to the channel for more such cricketing content without any bias.
Moving on to their group rivals in the form of South Africa now, who are also runners-up from the previous edition of the tournament held in the West Indies. Again, South Africa, one of the teams coming into the tournament with a few changes made to the squad due to injuries, and I think some changes that a lot of people have widely welcomed, because these two snubs didn't make sense in the first place to begin with. Going down the list, we have Captain Aiden Markram, Baby AB, Dewald Brevis, recently scored 100 in the final of the South Africa T20 League, did end up on the losing side though, at the hands of the next player in the squad, Quinton de Kock. Wicketkeeper batsman, has been in very good form as of late, so will be a shoe-in for the starters. Then probably one of the best finishers in the game, at least in the T20 game, David Miller. A relatively unknown quantity in Jason Smith has done well in the South Africa T20 League as of recent. And then come the two changes to the squad, Ryan Rickleton and Tristan Stubbs, who have come into the squad to replace the injured Donovan Ferreira and Tony DeZorzi. A surprise pick to begin with at the fact that Rickleton and Stubbs haven't been in the squad, but I think Stubbs is the player that has justified being in the squad the most with his performance overall in the South Africa T20 League, just like Finn Allen in the Australian T20 League. Moving on to the out and out all-rounders in the squad, Corbin Bosch, Marco Jansen, probably the most valuable all-round player in world T20 cricket right now, and then the backup player in George Lind. In terms of the bowling, we have Lungi Ngidi, Enric Nokia, Quena Mapaka, and Kagiso Rabada, all providing a lot of experience for the South African team, alongside Keshav Maharaj as the only spin option in the team. While they do lack a proper out and out spinner aside from Keshav Maharaj, they do have options for spin, with David Miller being able to provide some part time options alongside Aiden Markram and Tristan Stubbs as well.
And George Linde as well. He can give you few overs of left arm spin. Very solid squad, and even looks better with the addition of Ryan Rickleton and especially Tristan Stubbs, who these two were initially snubbed out from the squad for unknown reason. Unfortunately, Donovan Ferreira and Tony DeZorzi both are struck with injury, so Ryan Rickleton, a wicket-keeping option, comes in the squad, and Tristan Stubbs. And as you just mentioned about Baby AB scoring 100 in the final of South Africa T20 League, it was Tristan Stubbs who had the last laugh. He was the one who hit 2 sixes in 2 balls to win it for Eastern Capes. The addition of these two, especially Tristan Stubbs, might prove to be a blessing for the South African team.
Yeah, and not just that, with the amount of depth in the squad in certain positions, a lot of X factors are also there in this team. I think I already mentioned both of them as well. The QDK, Quinton de Kock, has been in some scintillating form as of recent in the South Africa League, also playing for the Eastern Cape, alongside Marco Jansen, who is, as I previously mentioned, probably the most valuable all-round T20 player. I think you would also agree with this.
The two players you mentioned, QDK and Janssen, these two could be the X factor for South Africa in this tournament.
And South Africa as a country have done reasonably well in recent ICC event, especially the T20 World Cup of last, which was held in West Indies and the USA, where they were runners-up. They also made it to the semi-finals of the 23 ODI World Cup, also made it to the semi-finals in another ODI tournament in the Champions Trophy in 25, also lifting their first ICC title in a while in the form of the Test Mace with the ICC Test Championship at Lords against the mighty Australia as well. So very good form as of recent. Their stock has risen extremely well in terms of world cricket as of recent. So I feel like they are due a break in the T20 format sometime in the future, and who knows, this could be the tournament.
But they should be careful about some of the concerns that might affect in their pursuit for the T20 World Cup. Choking at big moments, just like their group rivals New Zealand. Both of these teams somehow ended up choking at the most crucial stage of the tournament. Although they kind of figured it out, especially South Africa, with the recent run of forms they have in ICC events, but that is still remain a concern. They were unable to chase 30 of 30 in their last T20 World Cup final. From here, I have another concern for them is their batting depth. After Henrik Larsson and David Miller, it was Marco Jansen, Kesam Maharaj, and Kagiso Rabada in the last tournament, and things are looking somewhat same. We will discuss upon this or throw light upon this when we have the playing 11 for them, but the scenario almost same for them this time as well.
Let's move on to building the 11 for South Africa in the T20 World Cup. Opening pair, I think, remains the same with QDK in the form that he is in, and Captain Aiden Markram will be the one that starts alongside him. Number 3, most likely will be Dewald Brevis.
Yeah, in the recent T20 series he was at number 3, and so among the players we have, Dewald Brevis seems to be the one who should be at 3. Then 4, Tristan Stubbs, 5, David Miller, because David Miller generally plays at number 5 position, and Stubbs, I don't see him batting much down the order, so this should be the ideal position for both of them.
Apart from that, after Miller, they also have a bunch of all-rounder options that can chop and change depending on the position and the requirements from the pitch and the opponent, in form of Marco Jansen, George Lind, and Corbin Bosch. Lind being the only one that we don't have much experience with, because he's probably the newest, like in terms of experience, probably the newest in the South Africa squad. But other than that, Jansen very handy with the bat, Bosch can be handy with the bat. So that will be the lineup most likely, with Bosch a little lower at number 8, I think, and Janssen coming in right behind Miller and Lind sitting in the middle, and then changes might be made depending on the situation.
This is what I was talking about in the concern section, that after Miller, it is just the all-rounders. Yes, Marco Jansen, Corbin Boss, we have seen what they can do, especially Marco Jansen in the recent India-South Africa series, in test match, in T20s, in ODIs, but given a big stage, they might feel a little bit lacking in that department, because at number 6, Marco Jansen, 7, George Lind, 8, Boss, you will be kind of worried as a South Africa fan.
Fingers crossed and hoping for the best for the South Africa lineup. But if push comes to shove, hopefully the next two I'm about to name can come in handy with the bat and chip in a few. With Keshav Maharaj, who was one of the few that batted well in the last World Cup, and Kagiso Rabada, who can also be handy with the bat. And rounding out the order, we have Anrik Nokia at number 11, going with experience over variation on this one, because Kwena Mafaka would have provided a left arm seamer option, but with the blend of experience that Anrik Nokia has, at least on subcontinental pitches, I think he is the better choice here.
If we see the whole playing 11, the only specialist spinner they have is Kesam Maharaj, but just like New Zealand team, they are also filled with all-rounders like Eden Markram, who can bowl 4 overs of spin as well, right arm off spin. Then George Lind, left arm spinner. You do have 8 to 10 overs, even 12 overs of spin bowling in this lineup with pace bowlers like Kagiso Rabada, Marco Jansen, Anrik Nokia.
Yeah, given the all-round options you have, Maharaj definitely completes his 4 overs regardless of where you're playing. And depending on whether it's a spin-friendly track or whether it's a pace-friendly track, you can go with Nokia, Rabada, Bosch, Janssen to complete their 16 alongside Maharaj with the 20. Or you could go with Maharaj, Lind, Miller and Markram chipping in to complete around 12 overs, and then Rabada, Nokia filling in with the rest of the 8, with Bosch not bowling at all if need be.
Yeah, I think I will put the ball in his hand rather than David Miller, because if David Miller is bowling, the match is one-sided from both aspects. Either South Africa is winning one-sided or losing one-sided.
Some of the opponents in the group that New Zealand and South Africa will face are a little bit on the weaker side, especially Canada and the United Arab Emirates. Afghanistan, on the other hand, could be a banana skin for any of these teams, because on a given day they can turn up and provide a huge shock to world cricket. as we have seen in recent times.
Not a shock anymore because the progress they have made. This group is kind of a group of death because 3 teams have the potential to qualify from this one, but only 2 will go for the next round. Afghanistan is one of the dark horse in the tournament, and we will discuss about them in one of our future videos.
But for now though, that's it from our side for this video. Thank you guys for watching. If you enjoyed this video, consider smashing the like button down below. If you like our content, consider subscribing to the channel and turn on the notification bell as well. That way you get updated about our latest videos as soon as they are posted on the channel. Other than that though, have a wonderful day, enjoy yourselves. We'll see you in the next one shortly, and goodbye.